In the new Modi cabinet, Amit Shah is the Minister of Cooperation along with the Home portfolio. Mansukh Mandavia gets the Health Ministry after Harshvardhan is dropped. Jyotiraditya Scindia gets Civil Aviation. Sarbananda Sonowal gets Shipping and Ayush portfolios. Kiran Rijiju is promoted as Law Minister. Ashwini Vaishnaw, who is an MBA from Wharton, gets Railways and IT. 43 ministers are sworn in. Team Modi now has 77 ministers. There's a realignment of caste and regional equations. Former bureaucrats get promotions. Petrol prices are now over 100 rupees in India's major cities. Prices cross 100 rupees a litre in Delhi and Kolkata on Wednesday. And the doyen of Indian cinema, Dilip Kumar, dies at the age of 98. India mourns the loss of the acting legend. Hello and welcome to NDTV 24/7. I'm Rohit Wellington. Let's begin with our top story. Prime Minister Modi's Council of Ministers underwent a reboot on Wednesday and the portfolios have now been announced. Let's tell you who got what. Amit Shah is the Minister of Cooperation. It's the new ministry created by the government just ahead of that cabinet reshuffle. Mansukh Mandavia is the new Health Minister. Now, cabinet rank ministers have been increased from 21 to 30. Ministers of State with independent charge have been reduced from 9 to 2. And there are now 45 ministers of state, up from 23 earlier. Let's go across to Arvind Gunasekar for more on this. Arvind, take us through the new portfolios.
Yeah, Rohit, like you have been explaining, the big picture is that the cabinet ministers, that rank has been increased from 21 to 30. And also, if you could see the Minister of State with independent charge, earlier it was 9, now it has been reduced to 2. And the Minister of State, that has been increased from 23 to 45. So in total, including Prime Minister, the current Union Council has the strength of 78. So coming to the portfolio allocation, Ministry of Cooperation, that was carved out of Ministry of Agriculture, that has been allocated to Minister of Home Affairs, Amit Shah, and also the Ministry of Science and Technology, that has been given to MOS PMO, that is Jitendra Singh. Also Anurag Thakur, who has been elevated from MOS to a cabinet, he has been given the Ministry of INB. Earlier it was with Prakash Javadekar. And also Kiran Rijiju has been given the Law Ministry, and also Jyotiraditya Scindia, who quit Congress and joined BJP, he has been given the Civil Aviation. And also Hardeep Singh Puri has been given both the Housing Affairs and also Petroleum. And also Dharmendra Pradhan has been given the Education and also Skill Development. But the man of the day is Ashwini Vaishnaw. He has been given 3 very important portfolios: 1, Railways, and also Information and Technology, and also Telecommunication. For the first time he has been inducted into the government. The very first time he has been given the 3 very important portfolio. So as on this day, he is the man of the movement, bagging the 3 independent charge. And also several MOS have been allocated. The Ministry MOS for Health and Family Welfare has been given to Bharti Pawar. So this, in a way, according to the government, is an young and new phase of the Council of Ministers. The same phase with the similar with the same team, the government, the BJP will be facing the 2024 general elections.
All right, Arvind, going to take a long day for you as well. Thanks very much for joining us with those details. The other big story has been those who've been dropped from the Council of Ministers. Let's take a look at those. Ravi Shankar Prasad, IT and Law Minister, dropped from the cabinet. Harshvardhan has been dropped as the Health Minister, and Prakash Javadekar has been dropped as Environment and INB Minister. Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank, the Education Minister, again dropped. Sadanand Gowda, Thawarchand Gehlot, Santosh Kumar Gangwar, Babul Supriyo, all of them have been dropped from the cabinet. Dhotre Sanjay Shamrao, Ratan Lal Kataria and Pratap Chandra Sarangi, they were dropped as this reboot happened. But here are some of the reactions of those who made it to the Council of Ministers.
इससे ज्यादा मैं और कुछ अभी कहने नहीं वाला हूँ। अभी हम लोगों को बहुत मौके मिलेंगे चर्चा करने के लिए। मैं इतना ही आज कहना चाहता हूँ। देखिए, आप मुझे जानती हो कि 20 साल से कि जो भी जिम्मेदारी दी जाती है एक कार्यकर्ता के रूप में मैं जरूर कार्य करूंगा और हर संभव प्रयास मैं जरूर करूंगा।
माननीय पंतप्रधान मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में केंद्रीय मंत्री बन गया हूं। उनके मार्गदर्शन से मैं अपने देश में जो जिम्मेदारी देंगे वो मैं अच्छी तरह से संभालूंगा।
जी द्वितीयबार कारण देशर माननीय प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी डांगरियाय केंद्रीय मंत्रिसभात मुक अंतर्भुक्त करी देश सेवा करबार कारणे जिखिनि सुযোগ दिले तार बारे मैं माननीय प्रधानमंत्री डांगरियाक आंतरिकतारे धन्यवाद जनाइछु। लगते गृहमंत्री अमित शाह डांगरिया और राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष तेखेतসকলে मोर ऊपर विश्वास राखी दायित्व अर्पण करार बारे सिद्धांत लले।
दायित्व दिया सरकार में माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने लिया है। उन्होंने जो काम देंगे वो काम करेंगे, ईमानदारी से मेहनत से काम करूंगी।
मैं सिर्फ अपनी प्रधानमंत्री जी, पार्टी के सभी लोग, अध्यक्ष जी और अपने सभी नेता अमित भाई को सबको धन्यवाद देना चाहती हूँ ये मौका देने के लिए। और इस क्षेत्र की जनता, देश की जनता जिसने हम पे विश्वास किया है, पूर्ण निष्ठा के साथ, पूरी ईमानदारी के साथ जो भी सेवा हो पाएगी वो की जाएगी।
मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में देश जिस तरह से दुनिया में एक अपना नया स्थान कायम कर रहा है, उनके नेतृत्व में देश और तरक्की करे। जो भी जिम्मेदारी मिलेगी उसको अच्छी तरह से निभाते हुए प्रयास करेंगे कि जनता की सेवा की जा सके।
हम इस वक्त पशुपतिनाथ पारस जी के साथ में हैं। पशुपतिनाथ जी अभी पहुंचे हैं। पहले उन्होंने रामविलास पासवान जी की जो तस्वीर है उसको प्रणाम किया और उसके बाद अब हम लोगों के साथ वो मुखातिब हो रहे हैं। सर, रामविलास जी कैबिनेट मंत्री थे और अब आपको अभी शपथ दिलाई गई है, कितनी बड़ी जिम्मेदारी समझते हैं आप इस वक्त?
देखिए, सबसे पहले तो माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी का मैं आभार व्यक्त करता हूं कि उन्होंने मुझ पर इतना विश्वास किया और मैं पहली बार लोकसभा का सदस्य बना हूं। स्टेट की राजनीति में 40-42 वर्ष से किया। बिहार में 8 बार मैं विधायक रहा, 4 बार मंत्री रहा, लेकिन स्टेट केंद्र की राजनीति में पहली बार आया। लेकिन प्रधानमंत्री जी को मुझ पर इतना विश्वास है कि उन्होंने मुझको बहुत बड़ी जिम्मेदारी दी है। कैबिनेट मिनिस्टर उन्होंने बनाया है।
तो आप आए तो आपने सबसे पहले रामविलास जी को प्रणाम किया।
भाई हमारे आदर्श थे, हमारे भगवान थे, हमारे बड़े भाई थे। राम, लक्ष्मण और भरत की जोड़ी आपको मालूम होगा।
All right, now shifting focus to the other big story. It's a century no one is cheering about. Petrol prices have crossed 100 rupees in all metropolitan cities in India. In Kolkata and Delhi, the prices hit the 100 rupee mark on Wednesday. There have been protests against the price hike and inflation in different parts of the country.
Petrol in Delhi and Kolkata crossing 100 rupees per litre, making it a century in all 4 top metros. 28-year-old Shadan, a cloth trader, earns nearly 25,000 rupees every month and has a wife and a 9-month-old child. The rising fuel prices are a burden on many like him.
मेरा रोज़ का कम से कम 80 से 90 किलोमीटर रोज़ चलती है मेरी। तो मैंने अभी ऑयल डलवाया 270 का। मेरा 270 का हिसाब रहता है पहले भी और अभी भी। तो 270 का तेल मेरा पहले चलता था, आराम से 3 दिन निकाल दिया करता था। मगर मैंने कल ही डलवाया मोतीबाग पेट्रोल पंप से और आज मैं फिर डलवाने आ गया। ये हालत हो रही है। तेल बढ़ गया 100 रुपये। चलो ठीक है, अच्छी बात है, बढ़ गया, तो उस हिसाब से हमारी कमाई भी तो बढ़े।
Petrol hit a century in Kolkata today, a century no one celebrated. Not even the West Bengal Petrol Dealers Association, which has called for a light out at petrol pumps. And you can see over here, the lights have been switched off across this petrol pump and 529 others in Kolkata and Howrah. There will be no sale of fuel either till the blackout ends.
पेट्रोल डीजल में अगर भाव बढ़ते हैं तो हमारा देश में किचन में आग लगता है। 3.71 लाख करोड़ रेवेन्यू आप कलेक्ट किया जनता से। Don't you think that Narendra Modi government is cutting the pocket of the common people?
Today, the Congress also launched its 10-day-long nationwide agitation against inflation, as part of which protests were held in Bengaluru against the rising fuel prices. Petrol prices have risen about 20% since the 1st of January this year. It was 83 to 84 rupees in Delhi. Those achhe din can still return, particularly if the government cuts taxes. Of the 100.21 rupees per litre in Delhi, taxes are 55%. The cost of petrol alone is just about 39 rupees. The government says that it cannot do anything as the international crude oil prices are rising. It's around $72 to $73 a barrel. However, when crude prices were well above $100, petrol was only around 73 rupees. In Chennai, where petrol is costing 101.06 rupees per litre, it has made life difficult for Lakshmi, a vegetable vendor who runs this motorized cart.
இல்லை சார் அதே வேலை தான் காய்கறிலாம் விலை ஏறிக்குது நாங்கள் எப்பயும் போடுறதை தான் போட்டுங்க
நீங்கள் ஏற்ற மாட்டீங்களா ஏற்ற முடியாதா
ஏற்ற மாட்டோம் கஸ்டமர் எல்லாருக்கும் வந்து கொடுக்குறோம் அதே போடுற விலையே போட்டு
ஏன் ஏற்ற மாட்டீங்க விலை
ஜாஸ்தி போட்டால் விலை அதிகமாக இருக்குதுன்னு வியாபாரம் ஆக மாட்டுது கொரோனாவில் எல்லாம் கஷ்டப்படுறாங்க பணம் இல்லை.
The price of petrol in Hyderabad is 104 rupees and more today. For the last 3 weeks, in fact, Hyderabad has been selling petrol at over 100 rupees. The value-added tax that's being charged by Telangana, one of the highest in the country, at over 35%. And for diesel, it is 27%.
In the run-up to the 2014 Lok Sabha elections, when the BJP was in opposition, its campaign against the rising fuel prices was so intensive that the Manmohan Singh government had to put the proposed hike in diesel price on hold in April 2014. And now, when the BJP is in power, the public is raising questions. Bureau report for NDTV.
Shifting focus to coronavirus, India reported 43,733 new coronavirus cases in the last 24 hours, quite higher than Tuesday's 34,703, and added 930 deaths. Over 4.4 lakh deaths have been recorded in the country since the pandemic began earlier last year. Looking at vaccinations, over 36 lakh vaccine doses were administered in the last 24 hours. The total doses administered in the country has exceeded 36.13 crore so far. However, in the national capital on Wednesday, yet again there was a vaccine crisis. The Delhi government has appealed to the centre for more vaccine doses.
This is one of the largest COVID hospitals in Delhi. Today, its vaccination centre is deserted, with the national capital running out of vaccines once again. This has meant that even senior citizens like 75-year-old Shamima Khatoon had to return home without getting vaccinated. She claims the shortage is causing major inconvenience.
वैक्सीन खत्म हो गई हाँ और वहाँ गए तो वहाँ बहुत परेशानी थी कोई कहता अभी लग रही नहीं है अब फिर आना फिर जाना कहीं भीड़ है कोई आता नहीं वहाँ इंतज़ार करते हैं कि लगाने आएंगे कोई घर पे भी नहीं आता इसलिए हम यहाँ आए थे यहाँ भी नहीं लगी
57-year-old Panna Lal and 32-year-old Narayan were asked by their employer to get vaccinated in order to resume work. But as stocks of vaccines have run out, they returned without a jab.
बोले खत्म हो गई है कल आएगा या परसों आएगा
वापस जाएंगे अभी लगी नहीं वैक्सीन
तो जा रहे हैं तो नाराज तो है ही अब जा रहे हैं धूप में आए हैं जाना है
Delhi's Deputy Chief Minister claimed that after vaccinations at a record pace, the national capital has run out of vaccines and appealed the central government to send supplies urgently.
Vaccines are the best weapons we have against COVID-19, and at a critical time like this, when the healthcare experts have already warned of a possibility of third wave of COVID-19, the most important thing right now is for the government to ensure that a steady supply of vaccines continues to the vaccination centers. With camera person Manoj Thakur, I'm Akshay Dongre for NDTV.
And the shortage of vaccines was seen in Tamil Nadu as well. Sam Daniel has this report.
Moise Khan, who works in Saudi Arabia, is disappointed. For the second day, he could not get his second dose in Chennai, without which he cannot return to work. The state has run out of vaccines for the third time in 3 weeks. Many like him had to return without a shot.
How can I get the vaccine? I have to travel Saudi Arabia. We do not have job, first of all. We have to pay EMIs, mobile, whatever car, whatever home it is. How can we adjust?
The people are willing to take jabs, but vaccines are in short supply.
The state with a 7 crore population has administered 1.7 crore doses. Only 28 lakh, that's 4%, has got both doses. Initially, Tamil Nadu had faced vaccine hesitancy with just 4.57 lakh doses between January and February. But it rose by 5 times in March, crossing 25 lakh doses, nearly 7 times in May, crossing 30 lakh. In June, it was 12 times high, 57 lakh doses. While the ruling DMK tacitly alleged that BJP-ruled states with less population got more doses, the centre said the allotment was based on utilization.
Government of India has promised that they will keep on be supplying us as we run out of stock, and we are also, they have said that they will be keeping our increased utilization in mind while allocating.
While the union government faces criticism of missing early vaccine procurement opportunities, Tamil Nadu is finding it hard to cope with the rising demand for vaccination amid the second wave after overcoming vaccine hesitancy. The state now demands 2 crore vaccines every month, targeting at least 6 lakh doses every day. In Chennai with Suresh, Sam Daniel, for NDTV.
Welcome back. Microsoft has released security updates for Windows users to patch a security flaw impacting the Windows Print Spooler service. The vulnerability, called Print Nightmare, that was discovered last week, allows attackers to remotely execute malicious code with system privileges and install programs, make changes in the existing programs and create new accounts with full user rights. Microsoft has brought the emergency patch for all major Windows versions starting from Windows 7 to Windows 10. The Doyen of Indian cinema, Dilip Kumar, has died at the age of 98. He was admitted to Mumbai's Hinduja hospital last week after complaining of breathlessness. Tributes have poured in from across the world for the legend.
कौन कमबख्त है जो बर्दाश्त करने के लिए पीता है? मैं तो पीता हूं कि बस सांस ले सकूं।
मेरी आखिरी इल्तिजा है, दुनिया में दिल वाले का साथ देना, दौलत वाले का नहीं।
One of India's greatest actors, Dilip Kumar, or Dilip Saab as he was known, passed away this morning at a Mumbai hospital with his wife of 55 years, Saira Banu, at his side.
मैंने अपना भाई खो दिया है। वो सबों से भी ज़्यादा प्यार करते थे मुझे। पहली मुलाकात में ऐसे लगा कि हम पता नहीं कब से एक दूसरे को जानते हैं।
उनकी एक्टिंग की छवि कहीं ना कहीं आपको हर कलाकार में देखने को मिल सकती है। वो एक्टिंग का सबसे बड़ा और सबसे महत्वपूर्ण इंस्टीट्यूशन थे। उनके जैसा पूर्ण कलाकार न कभी आया है, न कभी आएगा और न कभी आया था।
Dilip Kumar's career spanned over half a century, starting with his first film Jwar Bata in 1944 until his last film Killa in the late 90s. Born Yusuf Khan in Peshawar, he changed his name to Dilip Kumar when he entered the Hindi film industry, a practice common at that time.
They offered me an option between Jahangir and
Dilip Kumar. There was one other name. I preferred Dilip Kumar. I said, yes, this is okay.
He did a film called Andaz in 1949, which also starred Raj Kapoor and Nargis. His performance stood out and this made him a huge star. He and Nargis did 7 films together, from Anokha Pyar in 1948 to Deedar in 1951. He also worked with Vaijayanti Mala in 7 films, including landmark films like Naya Daur, Devdas and Ganga Jamna.
पर जब तक मैं जिंदा हूँ चंद्रमुखी, मैं तुम्हें कभी नहीं भूल सकूंगा। तुम्हें देखने की प्यास कभी नहीं बुझेगी। न जाने पाप और पुण्य के विचार करने वाले तुम्हारे बारे में क्या फैसला करें, लेकिन अगर मरने के बाद मेल होता है तो मैं तुमसे कभी दूर नहीं रह पाऊंगा।
From Madhubala to Meena Kumari and Saira Banu, he worked with the top leading ladies of his time. His films were masterclasses in acting, from Mughal-e-Azam to Ganga Jamna and Devdas, often referred to as the tragedy king. Andaz, Naya Daur, Ram aur Sham, Madhumati, Shakti and scores of other films all established him as one of India's acting greats.
लेकिन मुझे अपनी जान पर इख्तियार है। अगर अनारकली आजाद न की गई तो कैद खाने की ये रात अनारकली पर नहीं, अकबर आजम की सारी जिंदगी के मंसूबों पर भारी गुजरेगी।
फिल्म स्कूल विस्लिंग वुड्स इंटरनेशनल का अगर विचार मेरे मन में आया कि मैं भारतीय बच्चों के लिए कुछ करूं, तो वो आइडिया मेरा नहीं था, वो दिलीप साहब का था। दिलीप साहब हमेशा बोलते थे कि सुभाष, तुम्हें आने वाली जनरेशन के लिए कुछ देना चाहिए, कुछ करना चाहिए।
Dilip Kumar was the first actor to win the Filmfare Award for the Best Actor in 1954 and won it a total 8 times. He was honored with the Dada Saheb Phalke Award in 1994 and Padma Vibhushan in 2015. Tributes poured in on social media. Actors and politicians across party lines offered condolences. In Mumbai, Rohit Khilnani for NDTV.